this is where you can plant your seeds and grow.
I was born in the wrong place. I just started my destiny here in DR. Turquoise water, palm trees.
Three-way honeymoon? I don't know.
Quisiera ser el pez. Sometimes we fear our greatness.
We must use our power.
We can totally enjoy being a woman here. This is how it started, with an incoming tour operator inside of one jacuzzi.
Imagine moving to another country and 20 years later, you are the owner of the most visited tourist hotspot in Punta Cana. Today, I'm talking with Olga Lishina, owner of Taino Concept Store and Gastronomic Laboratory. Welcome, Olga.
Thank you, Cheryl. This is the first time when I hear my surname correctly. So cool. Thank you very much.
Well, you're Russian, but you've lived here for 20 years, so I'm sure they've adapted your name like my name is adapted. How's it said in Espanol?
Española Lishina.
Lishina.
And you're? I mean, Dominican style?
Cheril, Cherry. They call me a little bit of everything. I just turn around and answer and smile. How are you today?
I'm fine. Thank you.
I'm really excited to be here with you because you have been here for 20 years. So I have to ask you, what was here when you moved here?
Nothing. Let me think. Nothing.
Yeah, not much, right? I remember in Espanol they say monte y culebra, like.
Right, we just had here 2 roads, and we didn't have a decent supermarket here, so we normally had to travel like 2 hours to La Romana to buy things.
Wow.
Do you remember this?
I do, but you know what? I've been here 18 years, but I didn't go to La Romana. I just made do with the little bodegas, the little mini market. Yes, I know that La Romana was the big store, which that was the jumbo back in.
Jumbo, right.
Yes. But now we have one here.
Now we have
in downtown.
Several here, finally.
Yes, very good.
And the life is different.
The life is much different. So I would love to hear, how did you actually arrive to decide that you wanted to make your roots or plant your seeds in Punta Cana?
Well, my story is not typical at all, because normally people come here, they fell in love, and they decide to stay.
Yes,
right?
That is my story. So what's your story?
My story is different. So when I was young, I always had this feeling that I didn't belong, that I was born in the wrong place. I was speaking with my school friends once, and she told me, Olga, do you remember this time in winter you were watching snow and you just told me, you know what? I hate snow, I hate cold weather, and one day I will live in another country when it's always warm.
Okay.
And I tell you, well, I don't remember this moment. It's so cool that you just mentioned it. But right, I always had this feeling that I just don't belong. So when I just finished my university, I came to my mother. I was 21, and I told her, you know what? I have 2 pieces of news for you. Both of them bad news.
You didn't want to give her one good option, one positive and 2 bad. It's like, look, bad and bad.
Which one would you like to choose? And, well, she knows me, and she said, okay, go on. Well, first of all, I'm getting married.
Oh.
I'm 21. Well, the next day after my wedding, I will move to Dominican Republic. And she said, what? And anticipating your questions, I have never been in Dominican Republic.
So it was just like, where is it sunny on the map, and this is it?
Well, actually, I had some lists of requirements for the country where I would like to live. And first of all, it was easy to immigrate. Then people have to speak Spanish because I've learned Spanish in the university. And then, what was? Of course, turquoise water, palm trees. I mean, the whole year, summer. This is what the must. And then I just opened the map and I saw 2 islands. I mean, no more islands that fit my list of requirements. And it was Cuba and Dominican Republic. So the choice was quite easy. So I already, and this time, I remember the Soviet Union, communism and things like this. So I definitely won't live in Cuba. And that's why I decided to move to Dominican Republic. And my boyfriend, my ex-husband, he was working in IT industry company. So for him, it was just have connection with the internet. Even we can live in any country. So, and he said, yes, let's do it. Let's move. And the next day after the wedding, we came to Dominican Republic to stay.
Wow. I think that is the most incredible story I have ever heard. Can you imagine just going on the map and saying, easy to immigrate, Spanish speaking, no winter, Dominican Republic, one-way flight, new husband, new life, new adventure.
Correct.
And you never look back? Like, did you ever think when you were here, because I know it was rough in those early days, to go back home?
I'm a very lucky person, and when I want something, somehow stars align. So in this particular moment, I was thinking, okay, we will move to Dominican Republic. Okay, so what I was going to do there? I will do there. So I thought, and then I started to send my resume to a lot of travel companies that were working with Dominican Republic in those time. And surprisingly, to this spam that I sent, and my email was very funny because it said basically, hello, my name is Olga, I'm 21, and will live in Dominican Republic. Please hire me.
I need a job, hire me.
So I got the answer, and the answer was, okay, come, let's speak. And I went for the interview with travel system. Just imagine this office with the wood furniture, shelters till the top, till the roof, everything done to you feel miserable.
Oh.
But I was brave, and I just sit there and say, hello, I will move to Dominican Republic, let's speak. And he said, okay, so are you moving to the yard? I said, yes. And what are you going to do there? And I said, you tell me. And he said, okay, I will explain you. You know what? We already are working with Dominican Republic, but we don't have an incoming tour operator there that could work with Russians. You know, Russians are very special
Particular.
people. Particular, yes. Right.
Okay.
And I say, okay, so do you know what does it mean incoming tour operator? I don't have any idea. And he said, okay, have you ever been anywhere? And I said, yeah, I traveled with my mother to Turkey last year. And yes, so what had happened? Well, we came there, and it was a guy with a sign of our names, and he brought us to the hotel, and then the next day he sold us a lot of very expensive excursions. And he said, yes, exactly. This is what normally incoming tour operator does. So you should do it. And I said, okay. And then just before I say goodbye, he said, and I will give you the phone number of one friend of mine. He will help you. And his name is Hans Dannenberg. He was director of the hotel. He was vice administrator.
Which hotel, may I ask? Because
Sosua Bay. because
Sosua Bay. So you were in Sosua.
I went to Sosua Bay for my honeymoon.
Okay.
Because I wrote, Hans, I'm on a honeymoon. I will traveling in 1 month. And he said, okay, come to my place. And he invited me to Sosua Bay and he gave me an amazing price. It was like 3 weeks for the price of 1 week. And yeah, I still remember this time, a lot of champagne, oysters. We had an amazing
Honeymoon. I mean, you were on your honeymoon. So.
Yeah, and just imagine, it's typical Dominican style. We are all together the first night in Sosua Bay. We are inside of Jacuzzi. And my husband, Hans, and myself inside of the same Jacuzzi.
Okay, a 3-way honeymoon? I don't know.
And,
typical Dominican style.
The Dominican style, yeah. I feel weird, but then I hear the song. Quisiera ser el pez para... Well, you know the song. In English, it would be, I would like to be a fish, and I will like to pass time in your cave. Exactly the translation of the song. In English, it's a famous Dominican song of Juan Luis Guerra.
Okay.
And Hans he's looking like very serious and in my eyes, and he said, please listen closely the song. Do you understand it? And and I just, in this moment, particular moment, I understand words because I was speaking Spanish already. And I feel so awkward. And I said, well, yeah, I understand. Basically, it's about that some man what he would like to do. So I would like to do an incoming tour operator. And I just switched the topic of the conversation. And Hans told me, okay, I will help you. And actually, this is how it started, with an incoming tour operator inside of one jacuzzi. Come on.
So you come on your honeymoon, you get a 3-for-1, you're in the jacuzzi with Hans, him singing, I Want to Be a Fish, and we'll have to get the rest of the lyrics to the song. And then you basically solicit for a job to be his incoming tour operator.
To create my own incoming tour operator.
Okay, to create so you're entrepreneurial from the beginning.
Yeah, I never had the chance to work for anybody. So I started my own business here in Dominican Republic, and that's it. I just started my destiny here.
Yes.
In DR.
And I know that many of the original jobs were tour operators because that was the only thing. There were few hotels and people coming in from all over the world. So you launched your own business and you are a tour operator working in Sosua?
No, actually, as I told, I was very, very lucky. So since the moment we came there, we moved then after our honeymoon to Santo Domingo. And then we started to travel the whole island to get to know different places, to get to know expat from different countries living here. And I was speaking with different Russians, Ukrainians, and people that were speaking Russian and were living here in DR. And I just told them, well, my name is Olga, and I will start my own tour operator business, my all-incoming
So
tour
manifesting.
operator. Yeah, immediately.
Manifestation.
I will do it. And they like, you what? And then they answered, we can't work with tourists here. Why? Because we need a license, special license from the Ministry of Tourism. And without this license, we can't work. And okay, what we should do to have this license? And they said, well, we have to organize the course, but we tried a lot of times and we never could do it. And I was like, okay, let me ask Hans. So I wrote to Hans, hello Hans, how are you? And I told him, what about to create a special course for Russians so we can work in tourism industry? And he said, okay, Olga, I think it's a good idea because in 3 months I will be Vice Minister of Tourism here in DR.
Oh.
And I said, okay, great. So I wait. He became a Vice Minister of Tourism here in DR, and he organized the first and only one course for Russians to get our guide license. And this is actually was the best way to enter to Russian-speaking community, and I became famous actually.
You became, you know what? I can so believe it. Olga, you're the one. You are the one.
Yeah, it was very, very funny. And then I eventually started my incoming tour operator in Santo Domingo. I started in my own apartment. And it was quite funny because I had to call to hotels and to get contracts. It was mostly the same. Hello, my name is Olga, and I have an incoming tour operator. Please give me a contract because I will have a lot of tourists from Russia. And you who you are?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Then I sent a lot of emails to Russian and Ukrainian tour operators with the same basically topic that, please, I already have my incoming tour operator, please come, send me tourists. And then I got the answer from one Ukrainian tour operator, tourist club. And the answer was, yes, but we need a farm trip.
You need a what?
Farm trip. It was my also, what is it, farm trip? Mm-hmm. And I called, what is it, farm trip? And they, well, it's actually a trip that everything is for free. We will come, we will stay in different hotels. You have to show us the area, excursions, transfers, everything for free. And I said, okay, let's do it. And then I sent emails to hotels. And as I didn't know that farm trip is coming from familiarization trip, I just first of all, it was like fun trip, like a fan trip.
Or a fun trip, like fun?
Like having fun.
Yeah.
I didn't know the original English word that, because I received an email in Russian, so I had to guess. But then I just wrote to my typical email to hotels and said, hello, my name is Olga Leshina, and I would like to make a fun trip, like a fun. And I got an answer, well, we can organize a fun trip for you, but the cost will be like this. And for 15 rooms that you asked us, it will be like this. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't have money. What I can do right now? And I said, okay, Olga Leshina doesn't work. I have to create Dominican name so it possible can work. And I create another person, Julia Guzman.
Julia Guzman.
Julia Guzman, right.
That's very Dominican.
I said Guzman sounds very Dominican, and Julia also, and I sent another email to another hotel. Hello, I'm Julia Guzman. I'm working for Olga Leshina and your incoming tour operator. Please confirm us farm trip. And I already wrote correctly the word farm trip. And oh my God, a miracle! They confirmed me a farm trip for free. And then,
really?
Yeah.
So should we change our names to some Dominican names? Let me know in the comments what my Dominican name should be.
So basically, Julia Guzman was my first employee.
Was she hard to deal with?
She was absolutely great, the best worker I ever had. She worked hard.
And she got results.
And she got results, yeah. Sometimes I had this, difficult situation when Julia was answering the phone from the hotel, and then they were asking me to pass the phone to Olga. And I was thinking, oh my God. Well, Olga normally was very occupied because she was the boss. and she couldn't answer. But this is actually how it started. Julia Guzman and me were working in the same company. And then I just came in the right time, in the right place, when tourism were growing. It was something incredible. A lot of Russians and Ukrainians were coming to DR. And basically from two person that I have working in my office, I had 250 employees.
Wow.
Working with me, yeah, here in DR, in Mexico, in Cuba, and Jamaica as well.
Wow, incredible. So you built this tour operator to 250 employees across different countries.
Right, yeah.
This is why I so respect you. Just not only because you've been here so long, but I didn't know your story. What an incredible story. But it had to be an incredible story, right?
I think some kind of crazy story.
I mean, and you're still here and thriving and better than ever. So incredible. So you have the tour operator, you're growing it, you and Julia and all the rest of the people, like, were there really 250 or was that just all of your alter egos? Like, let's talk about that.
Multiple personalities.
How many guests do we have today?
No, actually, I couldn't manage so many personality. No, I had to hire, and those time I had to bring all people from different parts, from Russia, from Ukraine, from Kazakhstan, all those 10 countries, to work here in the DR because I couldn't find employees here. It was very difficult, as we already said. Monte y Culebra, nothing was here, so
we had to bring the talent in from the outside.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And so you did that.
Yes. And it was a very interesting, funny time.
Yes. So how long did you do that? Or are you still doing that business?
No, it was, I was doing during 15 years. And then, the political situation, time changed. And then I got divorced with my husband. So every entrepreneur, I think it's a typical path of every entrepreneur. You have your glory moment when you're on top of the hill, and then somehow you have to start from scratches once again. So my new business that you already mentioned is a new business from scratches. No tour operator, no employees, nothing, and I had to start because we don't have Russian tourism here anymore. Nothing.
There are still Russians here,
but that's
not the same.
No flights, no communication. So
yeah. So you rode the wave from the beginning to, let's say, the end, but it's hard to say the end because really everything goes in cycles. So
I agree, and I also think that there's always a destiny. There's always like spiritual path that you have to do in your life, in your timeline. And if you understand science, if you understand the nature of our life, everything will be fine.
yes, of course, because the universe provides, we figure it out. And if we fail, then we learn from that and then go on to do something else. But we have those learnings already with us to go forward and do something else. I love your story of perseverance because you didn't take no for an answer. And I know you say that you are very lucky, but there's a definition of luck where preparation intersects with opportunity. So you were prepared to make this happen for you.
In Russian fairy tales, we have a very common pattern when a principal here encounters in a crossroads, and there are 3 roads, and it's always a sign that says, so if you turn left, you will lose your horse, but you will find yourself. If you turn right, you will lose yourself, but you will keep your horse. If you go straight, you will lose your horse and you will lose yourself. What this actually means? Actually, it has a very deep philosophical meaning. This is a metaphor that when you lose your horse, it's the way that you lose your animal side. I mean, all of us, we have our animal side. We love to eat well, we love to sleep well, we love to have active sexual life. But this is all about our animal inside of us. And when we speak about that, we will lose our animal life, so we will keep our social life. So turning right and to keep our social life, to keep yourself according to social dogmas, because we have a lot of social rules. Perhaps I am not showing my animal side, but I keep all social rules. I'm perfect mother, I'm perfect entrepreneur, I'm perfect social being, and so on. And I don't really have my fun part anymore. So this kind of crossroads, it's very common in our lives. And the question is, what does it mean if you go straight and you lose your animal side and you lose yourself, like a social part? What does it mean? It means that you choose the path of wisdom to find yourself, to make this step somewhere that you don't know. This is our life, entrepreneur life.
Yes.
We just move we just do the step. We
Yes.
don't know. We take a risk. It's a challenge, but we discover ourselves, and even discover our new ourselves. We discover our new part, like Julia Guzman, our Dominican side. We build ourselves, and this is the path of our soul, the path of our spirit, and this is the straight path. So it's very common that we choose like left or right, and it's very uncommon when we choose straight.
Yeah, because you said you lose them both. So most people would want to minimize losses or risk, let's say. But in this direction, it's putting everything at risk, which, like you said, is like entrepreneurs. But that's really what we do, really. I mean, when I moved here, that's what I did. I was like, let's see how it goes, you know? And at the end of the day, if you come out successfully, you actually have both and. I mean, I feel like I have both. How do you feel?
You are always on a crossroads. It's very typical. And you have to choose always. And we are entrepreneurs, always do chooses. We always have to choose. And the time that we had to choose was very recently. Do you remember COVID time?
Of course.
It was crazy. Like the whole humanity was on a crossroads.
Yes.
Of what I'm gonna do? Will I close my business? Will I stay? Or will I go?
Because you say 5 years ago. So yes, that's ringing a bell with me. So the tourism business was impacted by Russians, like the decline in Russians coming. How did you pivot into the business that you have right now?
Right. So basically, I finished with tour operator business, and it was an opportunity to buy a shop. There's always opportunities, and I found a shop that was already bankrupt, so it was closed, but it had some furnitures and several lawsuits.
Of course.
Of course. And I said, yeah, this is the challenge that I would like to choose. And I started with Taino gifts, gift shop, but I always wanted to make it different because with my previous tour operator business, normally I visited different shops with my own tourists, and it was always I will do it different. I would like to do this. So and when I have my new business, my business toy, it's small comparing to my previous business. It's like just a shop. It's not a big operation.
It's more than just a shop. We're going to talk about that, but continue. It is spectacular, literally spectacular.
You knew my new version because the first one, it was in another location. So I just landed there. And I said, okay, let's create something different. And the idea was that people don't want to buy, just to buy souvenir or just to buy cigars or run. We want an experience.
Yes, it is an experience. Really, you have accomplished the mission.
So the idea of Taino Gifts concept store is to share with our clients Dominican culture, Dominican history.
Yes.
For example, do you know the story behind tobacco?
Not in detail.
Some tips. Tobacco plant is actually coming from here, from Dominican Republic. You know?
Really?
Right.
Tobacco.
Right. Basically, when Spanish colonizator came here, they founded here indigenous Taino, exhaling smoke from their mouths because they already were using a pipe with tobacco leaves inside, and they were looking at them and like, perhaps they are possessed by devil.
Is that what they thought?
That's what they saw, and it's actually written there. And then, because we are human, very curious people, very curious animal, and they started to make their research, and they found out that actually tobacco leaves, it's a medicine. It's a medicine that can help you with everything, headache, stomachache, everything. And they took tobacco leaves from here, from Tainos, and they brought it to Spain like a medicine.
Oh.
And it was prescribed like a medicine during a lot of years. So actually, when we say that Taino indigenous just disappeared and no mark at all, it's not true, because Taino, they left a huge mark on the whole civilization with our habit to smoke tobacco.
Yes.
It's absolutely incredible.
I love your perspective. I really love that, because I was just recently in an exchange with someone talking about the culture and how you don't see it or you don't feel it as much. But hearing you say this right now, it's like it's there every day. Maybe we just don't recognize how much the culture is a part of our everyday life.
Right, and we can imagine our morning without typical Dominican coffee.
I know.
Or chocolate.
Not anymore.
That's why I have my own production of chocolate. We have a big cigar department. Of course, we have crafts and souvenirs made by Dominicans. A big department of jewelry.
Jewelry. Yes. So your shop has a very large footprint. Like, how big is it approximately?
1,000 square meters.
Yeah, so and that's over 10,000 square feet. So just imagine walking into an area that large. We walk in and they offer us the chocolate, and then we walk around, there's a cigar lounge. We've taken tours there and they spend hours. Literally, it's an excursion because they're hanging out with the cigars, they're trying the rum, the chocolate, and then you're shopping. There's tons of jewelry, the clothes, the snack bar, and then in the back, talk about that. That is just like
The back, yeah. The
Yes.
back is Taino Gourmet. This is gastronomic laboratory. It's the last business because it's appeared 2 years after Taino Gifts.
okay.
Because our client, they were asking more experience. They would like to know more, to try more, to enjoy more. But in Taino, we are not just about food and drinks. We are about making a difference. And actually, Taino, it's a labor of love. So that's what the idea, to give something back to the society that has given me so much.
Yes. Love that.
And we and Taino proudly support Fundación Mundo Mejor, orphanage from away. There are 33 boys. Some of them are already young men. They are grown up. And unfortunately, these young men, they are facing a lot of challenges. And first of all, when they have to find a work, and they still live in orphanage because they don't have any other place to go. So we hire them and we show them how to work with chocolate. And the chocolate that we produce in Taino, it's not just a chocolate, it's a craft that can give them a brighter future.
Wow.
So this is with a really very, very small things, we can make a difference.
Yes. And you feel that when you walk through the store. Everybody there, they're not just working. They're really there to welcome you. They really love what they're doing. They really want you to have a good experience. Like, what you have created is something that is really incredible. Like, after I walked through there, I was like, man, I got to fix some things. I got to make some changes. The ambiance, it's so clean. Everyone really loves what they're doing. They're not just selling things. You have created an incredible culture there.
I will share with you a small secret.
Okay.
Actually, my employees, they have built the shop.
Wow.
Yeah, because during COVID, we faced the necessity to move from the location that we were to another one. I didn't have enough money to do this. And I asked him, guys, okay, listen, we have to move because our landlord told us that we should move. But I don't have enough money to hire people to build everything. But I have some money to pay you. So let's hire somebody that can show us how to paint, how to build walls, how to work with wood, and let's do everything by ourselves. So during COVID, we were building our shop all together. The cashiers, accounting department, my sales guys, we were doing it all together,
Wow.
painting, doing everything.
And I tell you something, you walk in there and it is better construction than most of the construction you find in the area. I'm like, Taino, guys, you have to go there. Don't miss it. It is an experience. It is an experience. And it's incredible what you have done. Like, so they built it. So, of course, they feel an ownership and a pride in what they have actually built.
I'm very proud with my co-workers, with my team. They are brilliant.
Yes.
Amazing, absolutely. I'm very lucky to have them.
And they are lucky to have you. It's a two-way street. Relationships are two ways.
So, and my second business was a gastronomic laboratory where we use the chocolate that we produce, where our clients can have different gastronomic experience. Most popular tasting experience, we offer rum tasting experience, coffee tasting experience, cigar experience, and at noon we have cooking masterclass.
Okay.
So you can cook your own sancocho, the typical Dominican soup. We normally call it sancocho borracho.
Ooh.
Yeah, and during the experience, you could know why.
Sancocho borracho. So sancocho is like stew,
Yeah.
soup, and borracho is drunk.
Drunk, correct.
So is there some secret ingredient in the sancocho borracho?
Well, not really. It's okay. I will tell you, because normally Dominicans use sancocho after big parties.
Yes.
It can clean you, and you will feel again yourself.
Okay, got
So
it.
it's a perfect for Hanover.
Oh, is it really?
Oh, you
Okay.
didn't know it?
I did not know.
No
so
way.
now I need to make sure I have sancocho some of these days.
Right, right. And you can cook by yourself.
I love your story. It is incredibly inspirational. What advice would you give to anyone who is looking to start a business? Obviously, you're very, very successful. What are the keys, do you think, to success?
I think that the key to success is actually to love what you do. It's so simple. Because let's imagine you would like to open a coffee shop. You just did your perfect market research. You just decided that it will be in this corner because this is the most popular corner of the street. You opened your coffee shop, but you hate coffee.
No go.
So perhaps it will work, but when you really love what you do, if I love coffee, the smell of coffee, to prepare coffee, so for me it's not difficult to stay 1 hour later, to close 1 hour later, or to open 1 hour before, and to create something new with the coffee, new blend, to try a new products with coffee. So you will be always enjoying what you do if
Yes.
you really love what you do.
Yes.
Because we have so many entrepreneurs that coming from the part, oh, I will do this because I think it's a good business to create here. But they don't really like it. They don't enjoy it. Perhaps this business could exist sometime, but if we are, once again, on a crossroads,
Yes.
it definitely won't survive.
Right. Yeah, and I'm sure you've seen, like I have so many businesses come and go and come and go.
Right.
And even with concepts that are successful here, but somehow certain ones just really don't make it. But I think there is really something to those businesses and those entrepreneurs who have success, and that is it. You like that passion, that like fire inside for what you do. Like for me, even my partners, because I have various businesses, so I'm working with veterans, and they looked at me and they were like, "You love land and dirt." I'm like, "I do." You know? I do. You're like, we're driving down the road and I'm like, oh my gosh, looking at a building, and they're quizzing me on like when this style of house was built. And I knew the year, and we were in the States, and my partner was like, wow, I'm like, yeah, I love this. I love everything about it. And we're talking about roof lines and everything. I'm excited. And dirt and new land. I mean, really, I get excited about that. And now I'm excited about veterans because my dad's a vet. And so that is super important. I totally agree with you on that point.
And if we are speaking about women, because we can like take several segments of your question, being a woman in Dominican Republic, it's a blessed. We can totally enjoy being a woman here. We don't need to be a man. We can cry. We can have our mood swings. So it's quite common here. And people really, overall, men, they're happy to help you. So I'm so happy here because if I have like a heavy boxes, I can ask anybody on the street to help me, and they're happy to help.
Yes.
It's not gonna happen any other country.
Yes, I definitely agree. So we kind of have the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
We get to be the big boss,
right,
but then we get to be taken care of.
Woman, yeah, please
Yes.
help us.
I so agree with that. I love it. It was funny because one of my businesses, I'm the only woman, and there are 6 of us. And one time I was introduced, and he said, "Ella es el toque femenino." And so I was like, oh, it was interesting to me because I never had thought of myself like that, or that they referred to me like that. But at the end of the day, I took it as a compliment. So toque femenino means a woman's touch, or the feminine touch to the business. And I take that proudly, that I can really add that. So the women out there, guess what? This is where you can plant your seeds and grow amazing fruit.
Agree.
Yes.
Agree. And the last piece of your question, moving abroad, I would like to share with you the wisdom, not mine. Do you familiar with Maslow theory?
Yes.
I'm sure Maslow, his pyramid of Maslow.
Yes.
But he has another very famous one. It's Jonas complex. It's coming from Bible, actually. Okay. It's a story about Jonas, that the God told him that he has to go to Nineveh to preach, and he was scared of his path, of his destiny, and he tried to escape, he tried to avoid. So he took the first ship leaving, and it was a storm in the sea, and he told to his friends, listen, I know why it's a storm, because I didn't obey to the word of my God. So please throw me away, and the storm will stop. And they did it, and the storm stopped. Yeah, this is a Bible story. And the explanation of this story is Maslow explanation, that we very frequently, we try to hide our flaws, okay? Some problems coming from Jung, our shade, and so on. But we also sometimes we fear our greatness.
Yes.
We know that we can do it. We know that we have power, we have knowledge. We did it several times, like rehearsal. But somehow we are not moving. We want to move abroad, but we don't do it because we're scared of our power inside.
Yes.
So coming back to Maslow complex of Jonas, don't be scared.
Right.
We know that we have this power. Use it.
Yes. We have to use our power. We must use our power because we can make things happen. I mean, you have manifested your entire life from 21. I mean, I guess up until then it was like, follow the rules and do what mama says. But now I'm grown and I'm gone.
Correct.
And I love it. Wow, Olga, thank you so much for being a part of this podcast. It has been tremendously inspirational to me to hear your story and where you have come from. Let's let everyone know how to find you.
Okay, you can Google it, Taino Gifts, and you will find it immediately. Also, tainogifts.com. You can find my website, and you can book through my website any kind of experience. Visit the concept store. The transfer is for free from any hotel. And also to book any kind of gastronomic experience. Very famous one for kids also, with chocolate masterclass. So you can check all the experience that we offer. And if you use Instagram, you can also find out there, Taino Gifts.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much, Olga. And thank you for being a part of this episode of the Punta Cana podcast. Please be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you.
Bye-bye.